Good evening, classmates. Good evening, madam. My name is Meremy Masida Martinez. Before we start our discussion, I introduce first my group mates. First, Crisal Campa, Richelin Lindayao, Muharis Jinky, and Himida Rinarin. Our assigned topic is all about socio-cultural theory of cognitive development. So, now let's start our discussion. Socio-cultural theory grew from the work of psychologist Vygotsky, who believed that parents, caregivers, peers, and the culture at large are responsible for developing higher order functions. According to Vygotsky, learning has its basis in interacting with other people. Once this has occurred, the information is then integrated on the individual level. Vygotsky, the founder of sociocultural theory, believed that human development and learning originate in social and cultural interaction. Of course, the child can learn by our social interaction of other people, the community, especially their parents, their grandma. Example for the church, especially at ang mga kabataan at ginadala sa parents sa mga churches. So, by that, the children can easily adapt our beliefs, our culture, our values. In other words, the ways people interact with others and the culture in which they believe shape their mental abilities. That's why, like what I've said earlier, that the ways people interact. Yes, because the child lessons the people, the dialogue, the language of people, so that they can adopt and comprehend what is the meaning of all about the activity that they are doing, especially in church, so that their mental they can grow by the social interaction and our culture beliefs of other people. Vygotsky's sociocultural theory views human development as socially mediated process in which children acquire their cultural values, beliefs, and the problem-solving strategies throughout the collaborative dialogue with more knowledgeable members of society. Vygotsky theory is comprised of concepts such as culture-specific, private speech, and the zone of proximal development. The reason why that human development as socially mediated process, cause the child can easily learn and adapt the culture and beliefs of the society. Example for this is the bayanihan, refer to a spirit of communal unity and cooperation. So the child can learn how to help others without expecting rewards. Everyday everyday activity of the society can help the child grow and can help their development by the dialogue of other people, by interacting other people, so the children listen and the children can easily adopt our beliefs, culture, and values. Ang example diri is the bayanihan, which is very common there is as a Filipino.
Social interactions. For him, social environment or the community takes a major role in one's development. The interactions with more knowledgeable others significantly increase not only the quantity of information and the number of skills a child develops, but also affects the development of higher order mental functions such as formal reasoning. Children engaged in cooperative activities receive guidance and internalize information, fostering cognitive growth. Vygotsky believed that language plays a crucial role in this process, acting as a tool for thought and enabling communication within the social context. Thus, social to advance cognitively, enhancing their problem-solving abilities and overall intellectual development. Cultural factors. Vygotsky believed that in the crucial role that culture played on the cognitive development of children. Look into a wide range of experiences that a culture would give a child. Cultural factors significantly impact a child's cognitive development. Language exposure, parenting styles, educational emphasis on certain skills or value may influence the focus of a child's learning experience and shape their cognitive strengths and weaknesses. Cultural context provides the framework within which a child's cognitive development. According to Vygotsky, adults in society fosters children's cognitive development by engaging them in challenging and meaningful activities. Adults convey to children how their culture interprets and responds to the world. This assistance might include explaining concepts, demonstrating problem-solving strategies, or offering encouragement. These interactions enable children to internalize new information and skills, gradually gaining independence in their cognitive abilities. They show the meaning they attach to objects, events, and experiences. They provide a child with what to think and how to think. Adults showing attachment to things they love can positively impact children's cognitive skills by serving as role models. When children witness adult passion, dedication, and emotional connection to their interests or hobbies, it can foster a sense of curiosity, motivation, and commitment in the children. This can lead to improve the cognitive skills such as problem solving, critical thinking, and creativity as they emulate these behaviors and attitudes towards their own interests.
According to Vygotsky, the scaffolding is term for the appropriate assistance given by the teacher to assist the learning accomplished a task. Scaffolding involves the teacher providing support structure to help students master skills just beyond their current level. In reciprocal teaching, teachers and students take turns leading discussion using strategies like summarizing and clarifying. So both scaffolding and reciprocal teaching emphasize the shared construction of knowledge in line with Vygotsky views. So, in the other hand, scaffolding, it is like giving the right amount of support at the right time to help learning build their understanding and skills, gradually letting them and take more control of their learning. The more knowledge others or MKO. So this is it is a someone who has a higher level of ability, a greater understanding than a learning regarding a particular task or process or concept. So it means the MKO can be a teacher, parent, coach, or even a peer or provide guidance and modeling to enable the child to learn skills within their zone of proximal development or the gap between what a child can do independently and what they can achieve with guidance. So, the interaction with more knowledgeable other significant increase not only the quality of information and the number of skills and child development, but it is also affect the development of higher order mental functions such as formal reasoning and also, Vygotsky argued that a higher mental abilities could only develop through interaction with more advanced other. They show the meaning that they attach to object, event, and experience. They provide the child with what to think, the knowledge and how to think the process, the tools to think with. Next is language. Language. It is open the door for learning to acquire. Next is language. Language. It is open the door for learning to acquire knowledge that others already have. Private speech is a form of skills talk that guide the child thinking and action. Vygotsky highlighted the importance of language in cognitive development. Inner speech is used for mental reasoning and external speech. It is used to converse with others. So, according to Vygotsky, 1962, language plays two critical roles in cognitive development. So, first is it is the main it is mean by which adult transmit information to children. And second is language itself become a very powerful tools for intellectual adaptation. Vygotsky 1987 differentiate between three forms of language. The first one is social speech, and the second one is private speech, and the third one is private speech goes underground. So social speech it is which is external communication used to talk to others or difficult from the age of 2. The private speech it is difficult from the age of 3, which is directed to the self and serve and intellectual function. The third one is private speech goes underground. It is diminishing and audibility and at it is takes on a self-regulating function and it is transformed into silent inner speech typically from the age of 7. So therefore, for Vygotsky, to the language are initially separate rather, system from the beginning of life, merging at around 3 years of age.
Time topic is all about zone of proximal development. So it is represent the learning opportunities when a knowledgeable adult such as teacher or parents or a more advanced peer can assist the child development. Children who are in the proximal development for a particular task can also perform the task independently, but not quite. There are three distinct categories where a learner may fail in terms of their skill set. So, in other words, it's the gap between what a learner can do on their own and what they can achieve with assistance. The idea is to provide support and guidance with this zone to promote optimal learning and skill development. So, let's proceed to the key components of zone proximal development. So the success of this learning process involves these components. So let's proceed to the key components of zone proximal development. So the success of this learning process involves these components. So first, the presence of someone with the knowledge and skills to guide the learner. Second, supportive activities known as scaffolding provided by the expert that help guide in the learner. Third is social interactions that allow the learner to work on their skills and abilities. So let's go back to the first. The presence of a knowledgeable guide is vital in the zone proximal development, as this person can offer tailored support, ask questions, and provide feedback to help learners navigate tasks within their optical learning zone. So when we say tailored support, it is to maximize the effectiveness of guidance, ensuring that it is neither too easy nor too difficult, and facilitating optical
optimal rather learning and skill development for the individual. So second, when we say scaffolding, it is refers to the support or assistance provided by an expert to help a learner grasp a concept or complete a task. This support is tailored to the learner's needs and gradually reduced as the learner becomes more competent. Examples including provider hints, breaking down complex tasks, or offering prompts to enhance understanding. Yes, understanding. The goal is to empower the learner. So let's proceed to zone of proximal development by Vygotsky scaffolding. So as you can see, the first layer there is cannot do. So it means the children or the learners cannot do a task without a guidance by the teachers or parents. So the third one is can do alone. So for example, the teacher will give a task with this to the student, yes, to the student, and the student will answer the task successfully because they have a proper guidance by their teacher and they can do the task independently.
Different stages of the zone of proximal development. First is task a learner cannot accomplish with assistance. Those tasks that are outside of the learner's zone of potential development are those that cannot be completed even with the help of an expert. The learners cannot yet understand and cannot perform on their own but is capable of learning with guidance. Example, a 6 years old child knows how to ride a bike but cannot ride a bike unless his father holds onto the back of her bike. This child is in the zone of proximal development for riding a bike because she's still developing her skills on how to ride her bike, and the child uh, but um, but with the help of her father, the child is able to ride the bike, and after some practice, the child can eventually ride the bike on her own independent. And example number two, in the classroom, the teacher gives the learners a task, but the teacher have to do a scaffolding for her students because the student need assistance from the teacher or the adult or a more knowledgeable peer or those classmates who have a level higher level knowledge or skills. Second task, a learner can accomplish with assistance. When a learner is close to mastering a skill set required to complete a task, but still needs the guidance of an expert to do so, they are considered to be in their zone of proximal development. According to Vygotsky, an expert may use various techniques to help the learners better understand the concepts and skills required to perform a task on their own. Third task is a task a learner can accomplish without assistance. So the learner is able to complete tasks independently and has mastered the skill set required to do so. The learners does not need the help of an expert. The learners is already independent to do on their own, to do the task on their own. Diba? Kaya atong sa example sa first task, the child is always practicing the bike until she she will ride the bicycle alone on her own.